So considering that last situation, I know you mentioned that alcohol and drugs were not a part of that equation. So you weren't using you weren't drinking, and you weren't using any drugs.
Not at that point.
Not at that point. So tell me about a time that you were. And I know you've been sober for about 5 months, but I want to look at your past to
Sure.
because you've done a lot to stay sober for 5 months. So let's figure out how we can use some of those same strategies as it relates to other parts of your life.
So you want to know about?
So tell me a little bit about the last time maybe that drugs and alcohol were involved in
like a relationship or?
In a relationship or a sexual relationship.
Okay. So, well, you know, I used to hang out with a lot of, you know, musicians.
Okay.
And so, you know, we would hang out with the bands and stuff like that. We would go see different bands, and, you know, some of them would, you know, do some coke, and so we'd do some coke with them, or, you know, maybe like, you know, I used to shoot a little bit too. You know, it was just fun, you know what I mean? And, you know, my boyfriend's a musician, so it just kind of, you know, knowing people, and it was just always easy to score, you know, because I knew the right people, you know, and I knew where to go to get it. And there was always somebody to do it with, you know, like we just knew a lot of people. So, you know, I guess there was, you know, one night and it got pretty crazy, and, you know, we were all partying pretty hard, and, I don't know, I mean, I guess I hooked up with this guy, and, I don't even really remember much of it, you know what I mean? I mean, we were totally wasted, so, I mean, I felt pretty crappy afterwards, you know, I mean, because I woke up and I was like, I don't even really remember what happened, but, I mean, I knew something happened, 'cause, you know, I mean, we were in bed, but, yeah, I didn't really remember, like, what had happened. I guess I was, you know, just too high or whatever.
So thinking about that situation and where you are here about 5 months later with your sobriety, how did you get to this point? What prompted it?
Well, you know, my daughter's going to be starting school soon, and I don't want to let her down. You know, I want to be a good parent, and I know I haven't always been the best parent, the best mom for her, and you know, I really want to turn that around. I mean, she's getting a little bit older, and soon she's gonna have like other friends, and you know, what if they want to come over to the house, or you know, I can't have everything all messed up and have my life all messed up and have it affect my daughter. So trying to, you know, get it together for her.
Well, you should be very proud of yourself, though. 5 months is a long time, and it sounds like you're very committed to maintaining your sobriety. But I want to ask a little bit about the on again, off again partner, the on again, off again boyfriend. You mentioned that he was a musician, and it sounds like. And not to say that this is true for all musicians, but it sounds like maybe some of the ones that he hangs around with or you have access to are into a lot of the drug use and alcohol use. You mentioned that right now you're kind of off with this boyfriend. What happens when he comes back? How do you plan? Have you thought about how you would maintain your sobriety?
I mean, honestly, and not really. I don't know. I mean, it's weird. You know, we're on one hand we're really bad for each other, but on the other hand, I mean, I love him, and I can't really imagine myself, you know, being in a long-term relationship with somebody else. So it's weird. I mean, I love him, but I hate him at the same time. You know, like, so sometimes I can't stand him, but you know, I mean.
And you know, that is not too uncommon. I mean, sometimes things like that happen. Um, and those types of situations, I mean, I don't want you to feel bad about it. I don't want you to feel guilty about it. It's human. It's, the reality that sometimes we live and we don't do the things that are the best for us. And it sounds like you understand that. At the same time, there are ways that we can work with the situations that are handed to us, that we can make it, we can still, even though it's a bad situation, we can still make it the best possible outcome for us. So I do want to I want us to, as we talk, think about ways that we can get you to, we can make sure that you're in a healthier place, that you are able to be your best,
Okay.
even with him. Is he still using? Do you know?
I think he is, but he knows that I'm trying to stay clean, and so I think that's probably why we're fighting more
Okay.
lately, and maybe why we're not doing so good right now. It's because, I mean, he still goes out and plays, and sometimes he doesn't come home and whatever, and so I think that he used to bring people over to the house, and then we'd all party together. But ever since I'm trying to stay clean, he doesn't really bring people over, but he goes out a lot more. So I think he probably is still using, but he's not doing anything in the house.
Okay. Well, okay, so on the one hand, it sounds like he may not be the most supportive, but he's also not trying to break you or trying to tempt you in negative ways as well. Which can possibly be a good thing that we can build on.